A whisper in the dark. An unseen boundary. For centuries, humanity charted its course across vast, uncharted oceans, guided by stars and winds. But beneath the waves, above the clouds, stretched an invisible thread. A line, purely conceptual, yet imbued with an almost mystical power. It promised order, orientation, a fixed point in a world of flux. Yet, its true nature, its profound implications, remained largely a secret, hidden in plain sight. This line, once lost to the collective understanding, would eventually redraw maps and reshape empires. Its story begins not on land, but in the boundless, unforgiving expanse of the sea. Imagine a world without precise coordinates. A swirling canvas of land and sea, marked only by crude sketches and sailors' lore. How did early civilizations attempt to impose order upon this chaos? They observed the heavens. The sun's arc, the phases of the moon, the steady procession of stars across the night sky. These celestial markers offered the first clues, hinting at a hidden geometry governing our planet. A grid, unseen but ever present. But understanding this cosmic blueprint, transforming it into a practical tool for navigation and dominion, would prove to be one of humanity's greatest, most enduring challenges. One half of the puzzle revealed itself with relative ease. The vertical sweep across the globe, the measurement of latitude. Sailors could gauge their position north or south of the equator by the height of the sun at noon, or the pole star at night. A relatively straightforward observation. From ancient mariners to Viking explorers, this fundamental understanding provided a crucial sense of place. But it was only half the story. The other, horizontal dimension, the elusive measure of east and west, remained a formidable, often deadly, enigma. A secret held by the very rotation of the Earth itself. The real struggle lay in the unseen divide. The longitudinal line. Unlike latitude, which could be measured by celestial observation, longitude depended on something far more ephemeral, time. The Earth's rotation meant that every degree of longitude represented a specific difference in local time. To know your longitude, you needed to know the precise time at a fixed reference point and your local time. This was a monumental task for centuries. An invisible barrier, thwarting the grandest ambitions, leading ships astray, and costing countless lives. It was the planet's ultimate, silent guardian. The consequences of this ignorance were devastating. Ships, laden with precious cargo and human lives, vanished without a trace, often not in storms, but simply lost, unable to find their way back to harbor or to their intended destination. Entire fleets, dispatched for conquest or trade, found themselves adrift, sailing in circles, or colliding with unexpected coastlines. The vastness of the oceans became a graveyard of dreams and ambitions. Without a reliable way to fix their east-west position, navigators were merely guessing. A gamble with the lives of men and the fortunes of empires. For emerging global powers, this lack of precise longitude was a crippling handicap. How could an empire truly project its might across oceans if its ships couldn't reliably reach their targets? How could trade routes be established and protected if vessels constantly veered off course? Colonial expansion faltered. Military strategies became exercises in futility. The sheer economic cost, in lost ships and wasted resources, was staggering. This invisible geographical gap, this missing line on the map, held back an entire era, tethering nations to their shores, preventing true global dominion. The need became desperate. A silent, urgent plea echoing across the burgeoning naval powers of Europe. Spain, Portugal, England, France all yearned for a solution. The nation that could unlock the secret of precise longitude would gain an insurmountable advantage. Superior navigation meant safer trade, faster voyages, more accurate maps, and ultimately, unchallenged global supremacy. The reward wasn't just glory, it was wealth, power, and the very shape of the future world. But how to claim such a prize? The challenge lay not in finding land, but in finding a way to draw an invisible line. For centuries, solutions were sought in the heavens. Astronomers proposed complex methods, observing the precise moments of lunar eclipses, or measuring the changing positions of the moon against the background of fixed stars. These lunar distance methods were theoretically sound, but astronomically demanding. They required sophisticated calculations, clear skies, and skilled observers, conditions rarely met on a rolling ship in the middle of a storm-tossed ocean. They were dreams of a solution, beautiful in their complexity, but agonizingly impractical, failing to bridge the gap between theory and turbulent reality. Yet, even amidst this uncertainty, nations dared to draw lines. In 1494, Spain and Portugal, two titans of early exploration, divided the newly discovered world between them. They agreed upon a meridian, an imaginary line slicing through the Atlantic, to demarcate their respective spheres of influence. The Treaty of Tordesillas was a bold assertion of power, a testament to the belief that even a line of uncertain exactitude could shape destinies. It was a phantom boundary, debated and adjusted for centuries, yet its impact on the colonization of the Americas, and indeed the world, was undeniably profound. The heavens had failed. The sea demanded a different kind of precision. The solution, when it finally emerged, came not from an astronomer, but from a quiet clockmaker, John Harrison. His chronometers were marvels of engineering, designed to keep incredibly accurate time even amidst the violent pitching and rolling of a ship at sea. By comparing the time on his chronometer, set to a home port's time, with local noon, a ship's longitude could finally be determined. A portable, steadfast reference point. It was a profound breakthrough, yet its acceptance was far from immediate. Old ideas, and old power structures, die hard. With the problem of longitude theoretically solved, a new dilemma emerged: which meridian should be the prime meridian? Which invisible line would serve as the universally accepted zero point from which all other longitudes would be measured? Every seafaring nation proposed its own capital, its own observatory. Paris, Faro, Cadiz, each vied for the honor. It was more than a cartographic decision. It was a profound statement of national prestige, a claim to be the intellectual and geographical center of the world. This silent, invisible race for the zero meridian was a battle for global authority itself. Amidst this vying for supremacy, one specific observatory slowly, steadily, gained prominence. The Royal Observatory at Greenwich, England. Established in 1675, its astronomers were dedicated to refining celestial navigation, mapping the stars with unprecedented accuracy. British naval charts increasingly adopted Greenwich as their reference. As Britain's naval power and global trade expanded, so too did the de facto acceptance of the Greenwich meridian. It wasn't an imperial decree, but a gradual, practical adoption driven by the sheer volume of British maritime activity. A silent, relentless conquest of the maps. The time for a global decision finally arrived. In October 1884, delegates from 25 nations convened in Washington, D.C. for the International Meridian Conference. The goal: to establish a single, universal prime meridian and a universal day. It was a momentous occasion, a recognition that global navigation and communication demanded a unified system. After much debate and diplomatic maneuvering, a vote was cast. The result was decisive. The Greenwich Meridian, already widely in use, was officially adopted as the world's zero of longitude. A hidden line, once local, now transcended borders. The impact was immediate and profound. With a universal prime meridian established, the world could finally synchronize. Global time zones, essential for international trade and travel, became standardized. Maps gained unprecedented accuracy and consistency. The entire framework of modern geography, from shipping lanes to aviation routes, was built upon this single, invisible line. It wasn't merely a point of reference, it was the foundation for a globally interconnected world, enabling feats of exploration, commerce, and communication previously unimaginable. The lost meridian was truly found, and globally embraced. But the chosen meridian was not just a scientific achievement, it was a tool of empire. With precise navigation, colonial powers could more efficiently dispatch fleets, map new territories, and consolidate their control over vast, distant lands. The Greenwich Meridian, born from British naval supremacy, reinforced that dominance, weaving itself into the very fabric of global infrastructure. It codified a Eurocentric view of the world, placing its invisible center firmly within a powerful, expanding empire. A silent assertion of power, defining the world from one specific vantage point. From the mechanical chronometer to the atomic clock, from paper charts to satellite navigation systems, the principle of a universal prime meridian underpins it all. Our modern GPS systems, guiding us with pinpoint accuracy, still reference that same invisible line. Every data packet, every digital map, every calculated route relies on its existence. This once lost, then found, then agreed upon meridian is not merely a relic of history, it is an active, indispensable component of our technologically advanced world. A testament to humanity's enduring quest for order in chaos. What then is the true power of this hidden line? It is the power of a shared reference. Of agreement. Before, a dozen different 0 points created confusion, fostered errors, and hindered progress. After, a single, universally accepted meridian provided a common language for global positioning. It was the linchpin that allowed disparate cultures and nations to finally speak the same geographical tongue. It transformed an endlessly vast and complex world into a manageable, mappable space. A simple, invisible line, yet its unifying force was immense. So, the lost meridian wasn't a physical line that disappeared, but rather the understanding of its vital necessity, and the struggle to establish its universal definition. Its true secret lies not in its precise location, but in the sheer magnitude of its impact. It is a symbol of human ingenuity overcoming profound challenges. A testament to the power of scientific endeavor, diplomatic negotiation, and the relentless drive to explore, connect, and control. It reminds us that even the most abstract concepts can profoundly shape our reality, carving empires, and connecting us all.